And Laura, I mean, how close are we to being able to go and sit cheek by jowl in a theatre again and rustle our bag of minstrels?
That is the big question, and that's why this programme was set up, really. So this is the first phase of it, which took place in April and May and involved 10 organised events in different cities, in London, in Sheffield and also in Liverpool. Clubbing events, big sporting events as well, some indoor, some outdoor, some seated, some not seated. The idea being to give a real range of situations of these big mass gatherings to see and try and identify some of the risks and then look at what could be done to mitigate those risks. If you look at some of the findings in more detail at some of those events, at the Circus nightclub, which is the one that took place in Liverpool, it hosted nearly 7,000 people over 2 nights. 10 COVID cases were recorded. The World Snooker Championship in Sheffield, where there were more than 10,000 attendees over 17 days, saw 6 COVID cases. And at the Brit Awards, where 3,500 people attended at London's O2 Arena, there were no cases recorded there. So I think lots of things to look at from this report. Like I say, it's only phase 1. This was at a time in April and May where there wasn't as much mixing going on outside, but these events were really popular. Lots of people taking part, lots of people enjoyed themselves, and the hope is that they can look at some of the situations and pinch points, as they put it, and use that as a basis for trying to organise future events more safely. Now, we know some of the pinch points which are identified, particularly at these large unstructured events like the clubbing event in Liverpool. You can see there the pinch points really were around things like the entrances, the exits, the toilets, food and drink outlets as well. And so the idea is we can try and see where the pinch point is and look, as I say, at other things that might be happening and how we can deal with that. Of course, there are big events coming up with the Euros in London as well, coming up very soon. Lots of questions about that number of people attending those events, but it really, the scientists say, is going to be down to local teams on the ground to look at the sorts of people who'll be coming, look at the situation where they're going to be sat down and try and work out how best to mitigate it. But of course, for not just sporting events, but for several in the entertainment industry, this is what they've been wanting to hear, that these events can take place safely, that it doesn't bring about any more spread of COVID than is what was going on automatically in the community, and that really there's no reason perhaps that these events can't take place in as COVID compliant a way as possible in the future.